Hey everybody, this is Joshua from Rompin' with Corn Boy, or you can just call me Corn Boy. I figured I'd give an update on how the corn and soon-to-be bean nursery is going. I tried to do one of these 2 weeks ago, but I used a GoPro and the camera just would not stop shaking, and it made me sick to watch it, so I didn't want to do that to y'all. So unfortunately, this video, my first video, is going to actually be about 2 weeks late, but it'll have to do. So I just wanted to show the nursery, how things are coming along. I'm just doing this with a phone in a single take, so if it's a little rough, I'm trying. I'm Corn Boy, not Camera Boy. Okay, so let's get behind here. So the nursery is about an acre, just a little more. Dad and I came in and fenced the whole nursery in with a Premier One electric netting unit. You can see the box down there, sausage finger. I got this one specifically because not only is it tall, you can see, I mean, I'm not a giant, but it's pretty big. I like it. If the deer really want to get over, they can, but it will deter them quite a bit. But what I'm more worried about than the deer are rabbits. Wascally wabbits. And so I got the netting. It has very narrow threads on the bottom, which will specifically keep out rabbits. The Premier One netting that I've used before just for corn works really, really well to keep out raccoons. But raccoons, in my experience, don't bother beans. And the rabbits would just jump right through. So I had to sink a pretty penny into this, but so far I really like it, and I haven't had any deer tracks at all for 3 weeks now. So I love Premier One stuff. Don't worry, no paid promotions, any of that stuff. I use it because I love it. You get what you pay for. So, okay. So my nursery is divided into 3 sections. I gotta figure out what to do with my hand here. This here is a mass crossing block between Papago from Arizona. It's a low elevation desert breed. I love it. Despite its origin, it does quite well in Tennessee if you can just keep the disease off of it. I can use fungicide for that to keep it alive from making crosses. You can't grow it here sustainably, but for breeding material, I absolutely adore it because it doesn't get tall and stretchy when you give it a lot of water, rain and fertilizer like a lot of other desert corns do. I adore it, and it has strong roots comparatively. And I'm crossing it with let me back up. The Papago, it's an F1 of 2 different land races from the USDA Grin, a late one and an early one. I chose out of 6. They were my favorite 2. They were good already. I crossed them to do some genetic folding. I think that was Carol Deppy's idea. I think that's her term. And to get rid of inbreeding. So I'm taking that one, and here in this block you can see the little short corn coming up. That is a 50-50 mixture of 3 Northern Flints and Painted Mountain. And I'm going to mate the Papago as a female with pollen from this mixture here. And that will contribute lots of pretty colors and some other stuff I can get into later. You can see it's just starting to come up. I'm going to do a separate video on my weed management. You'll notice it's really spotty. But certain rows are clean and other ones still have quite a few in them. Don't worry, I'm working on it. I'm getting there. It has not stopped raining this May, but I'm working on it. You'll see a big improvement here in about 2 weeks. Okay, anyways, this block here is also Papago, but I'm using it as a male to pollinate an F1 cross that I made a few years ago between Pete Seeger from Frank Kutka. It's as far as Northern Flints go, it's amazing. I love it. It's a 50-50 mixture of, it's a diallel. It's a fancy cross, basically, of about, I think, 16 different Northern Flint inbred lines crossed in all different ways to maximize diversity, blah, 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 breeder talk. Don't worry about it. It's good. I really like it. And I pollinated it with Montana Kudu from Ed Schultz, which actually had a particular trait I really wanted. So that's going to be one big block right there. So Papago and then a Northern Flint flower mixture. Like I said, I'll tell you more about why I did it later. I haven't planted these yet. This is going to be a crossing block between Zapalote Grande and Zapalote Chico. Some different useful traits there. I'm going to plant this at the very end because it's going to be a bonus if I can get all my other stuff done in time. I don't want to prioritize this one, but I am going to try to sow it. Okay. What you see here, hope I'm not shaking this camera too much, is a crossing block between Tennessee Tuxepeño, which Southern Exposure has carried before. It's going to be the male in both cases. I'm crossing it with Arenoso de Ocho, which is an elite land race from low elevation Mexico in Nayarit State. I'll gush about it later, but I love it. It's an amazing workhorse. It's inbred. You may not notice it here, but it's inbred. It needs to be crossed with something, but by golly, does it give yield and big old fat seedlings. These seedlings that you see here, they're only, there we go. They're only 1 day younger than the Papago. Now, by comparison, well, no, I guess they're not too much bigger. Well, they're still big. Sorry. Pardon my side. Anyways, I love it. It's great corn. I absolutely love it. And it is, in my figuring, my reckoning, it is a very distant progenitor of northern Flint flower. So interesting aside there. And this here, same cross, Tennessee Tuxepeño. This is Chiriquaw, which is what I'm calling the mix breed between Saluya, Cherokee white flower from Oklahoma. It is not the same thing as typical Cherokee white flower. There's something else happened there. I think it was the original Cherokee corn that maybe got mixed with some Great Plains flower corn, because it ain't nothing like the Cherokee flower that Southern Exposure sells from North Carolina. But I crossed that one with Quapaw Red, also from Oklahoma. Quapaw Red is the most vigorously growing non-tropical corn I have ever seen in my life. I have never seen a corn outcompete weeds so well before. I really like it. It's not a good yielder, and it needs to be shorter, but it is vigorous. And on genetic studies, it pairs up very similarly, morphological studies. It pairs up very similarly with Arenoso. So I crossed that one, Quapaw Red and Saluya together and made the Chiriquaw mixed population. I'm going to take that and I'm going to cross both it and the Arenoso de Ocho with the Tennessee Tuxepeño as the male. You can see the very first ones of the Tuxepeño coming up there. Anything with blue, that's going to be a special row. Most of the Tuxepeño has not come up yet because I just planted it, I think 4 days ago, except for that one little oddball section there. But that's going to be another huge cross, and I haven't done anything with it yet. You can see all the weeds. I have to get in there and till it again. But that back section is all going to be a mixture of Caribbean. It's a Caribbean composite that I absolutely adore. It's the most disease-resistant thing I have. I'm going to make that with Suwon-1. Suwon-1 will be the male. And I've got a few other oddballs I'll stick in there just to fill in the space. I've got a varietal hybrid that I'm wanting to make for eventual seed cell. Cynthia, you know the one I'm talking about, so just a heads up. It'll hopefully I'll put it in this year. And what I'm going to do with everything except for the Papago section is I'm going to grow beans on all of this corn on the male rows. I've got some breeding stock I want to stick in here, and the reason why I'm doing that is I'm going to use these for males. They have strong stalks, pretty good stalk rot resistance, which is something people often don't talk about. And these stalks here, after I use their pollen to make the females, the stalks are just going to be setting in the field for 2 months, and they're not going to be useful for anything, right? So I figured, well, I might as well try to plant some beans on them. And if I give that a shot and the male plants wind up breaking over, then who cares? You know, it sounds bad, but they did their job. And so the females will not have any beans on them. That way they won't be as likely to break. And then if the beans are successful on the males, then hey, I'm golden. So I can do two things at once, bean and corn breeding. And let's see, I haven't mentioned spacing. Okay, I'll do that in a sec. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, except that's probably going to be a mixture of some interesting runner beans and also cowpeas. Okay, I didn't mention seeding and spacing, so I guess I'll go over that really quickly. I don't know what the time limit is on a new video poster on YouTube. Okay, so in the northern Flint flower papago section, when I sowed 2 seeds every 2 feet. And I just used my foot to measure. So there you go. There's your 2 feet. I use an Almaco hand jab planter. I love it. Again, get what you pay for. It costed me an arm and a leg, but I've used it for 6 years now and ain't never done me wrong. I planted every bit of this with the hand jabber. And I put my rows 3 feet apart. That's pretty well universal, but that 2 and 2, the two seeds every 2 feet, I do that here because this corn is, it's just not, maybe the papago could support some smaller pole beans, or definitely half runners, but it does not resist stalk rot well enough for me to be comfortable with it as a bean support. So I'm not growing any beans on it, and unfortunately the northern Flint flowers, they just don't have the roots for it. So this is going to be a strict corn section, and that's why the spacing is much closer together and more standard. Over here, in the rest of the nursery, standard spacing is going to be 2 seeds every 3 feet. And that's because I learned years ago that a lot of these corns that I use for breeding stock, the late ones, they get big. And if you don't give them enough room, they will put on all that leafy growth, but they will stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch. So by giving them more room, you don't get as much stretching. The plants will be more compact. If you have a drier year, then you can get by with tighter planting because your corn stalks just simply won't grow as much. But when you give them plenty of water, plenty of fertilizer, they crowd and compete each other, and you'll get a disaster. I grew the exact same corn in the exact same way with the exact same spacing in the exact same spot between 2 years, and the year we had a lot of rain, I had some of the worst lodging I've ever seen in a commercial type corn. It's horrible. So I learned my lesson. Give your corn extra spacing, and then as a bonus, every other row, plant beans on it. And there you go. Why not? And then the beans, again, haven't planted the corn yet, haven't planted the beans yet, but the beans will grow, and they'll have all that extra space, all the extra light, and so they won't try to climb to get to the top of the corn stalks and then put all that weight on the top of the vine. They'll bloom earlier. So it just works better for everything. But, and the corn in the back there, I'm going to try to plant that in about a week. If it would, again, stop raining. I don't know if you can see the rain coming down now. I'll plant that in about a week and go from there. And I'll do everything the exact same way. I think I've got 35 rows over there, 150 feet apiece. I'm probably going to put some watermelons or something down here. I honestly don't know what to do with it. The irrigation system I'm going to use, the tape runs they won't push water more than 150 feet. So I had to cap my rows at about 145. But yeah, I think that's about it for now. I'm going to probably do some video dumps. I'm going to do one on herbicides for a small grower like me, especially a small-scale breeder, and go from there. So this is just the first introduction. So again, this is me, Woo, and hope to see you again.